You ever notice how the ego likes to show up first thing in the morning? Before you've even brushed your teeth, it's already there, reminding you of your problems, rehearsing old arguments, or making up a story about who you need to be for today. That's the ego in action. The running commentary that wants to keep us identified with worry, comparison, or that we're not enough. And then, sometimes the pain body stirs too. Maybe you wake up already tense or heavy, like yesterday's energy never fully left. That's the emotional residue waiting to be fed. If you reach straight for the news or social media, it gets its breakfast quick. The rising hours are the best time to notice this dynamic, not to fight it, but just to see it. That's where shadow work quietly enters. Excuse me. The shadow is really just the part of us we'd rather avoid. But when they come up first thing in the morning, it's a reminder. They're not enemies. It's invitations. So, in the rising, instead of judging yourself for the ego's chatter or the pain body's mood, you can just say, okay, I see you. You're part of me. But you don't get to drive my day. You don't get to take the wheel. That's already shadow work in practice. Beloveds, it's called awareness without shame. Life has usually thrown a few curveballs by midday for many of us. Someone cuts you off in traffic, or a coworker makes a comment, or you're still stuck on the news and headlines hitting your feed that stir anger or sadness. Y'all stop buying a newspaper. You can find your zodiac online for your horoscope, for Pete's sake. Who really even reads their horoscopes anymore? That's where ego and pain body love to team up. The ego says, I'm right there, and I'm right, and you're wrong, so keep feeding me more trauma. Hold on, I'm going to take a sippy sip of my water. And then we will continue. Here's the thing. Those moments are actually gold for the shadow and for shadow work. Because whatever triggers us is showing us something. And that something is what still needs healing. You're not being punished. It's just more like something having our blind spot. Maybe the anger is tied to an old wound of not being heard. Maybe. Maybe the sadness is connected to a childhood moment. Maybe. Shadow work at midday. Catching yourself in the middle of the trigger and asking, what part of me is this really about? What's the root beneath the reaction? That's how pain becomes fuel for presence. It doesn't mean we suppress the reaction. I just sit with it long enough to see if there's perhaps something to learn from it. And when we do, that ego loses their power, loses their grip. And the pain body gets a little less hungry. I'm going to read a little something from chapter 7 of A New Earth and Finding Who You Truly Are. Page 203. A vital question to ask yourself frequently is, what is my relationship with the present moment? Then become alert to find out the answer. Am I treating the now as no more than a means to an end? Do I see it as an obstacle? Am I making it an enemy? These are participation questions for those of you who would like to chime in. I'll repeat them again. What is my relationship with the present moment? Am I treating the now as no more than a means to an end? Do I see it as an obstacle? Am I making it into an enemy? What is your relationship with life? This question is an excellent way of unmasking the ego in you and bringing you into the state of presence. And by the time the evening rolls around, you've carried enough. That weight of the day. This is where the value of slowing down comes in. If the ego had its way, as Uncle Mikey would say, you'd be scrolling instead of rolling, kid. Are you scrolling or are you rolling? Numbing or replaying everything you should have done differently. When you're scrolling, you're bypassing. If the pain body had its way, you'd be dwelling on every emotional spike, almost like chewing it over again and again and again. Right before bed even. But the evening energy is made for integration. I know I say this practically every single day. But it's so true. It's time to actually do the work. There are so many different techniques. Journaling, meditation, breath work, and if any of those things are a disinterest or just not negotiable for any reason, just sit quietly. Yeah, just sit quietly with whatever you came up for during the day. You don't have to fix everything before you sleep, but you can at least acknowledge, gee, I may feel a little triggered here. I feel small. And I see it now. That's powerful. Because the shadow doesn't dissolve from being ignored. It dissolves from being seen. It dissolves into that ultraviolet light that's unseen to the human naked eye. And each evening we practice that. The ego softens. The pain body shrinks. And we build more of that inner space for the consciousness that's trying to emerge through us. What I've come to know as the God Spark. Christos, Buddha, Krishna, Sophia, Mother Mary, consciousness. So here's the takeaway so far. In the morning, we notice the voices. Midday, we learn from the triggers. And by the time the evening rolls around, we integrate and release. That's ego work. It's the integrating and releasing part that can be the thorn in our side. Pain body awareness and shadow work all rolled into a day. Not as heavy spiritual labor, but as simple presence with ourselves. Peace within ourselves that we are accountable for. Yes, you heard me correctly, beloveds. We have to be accountable for our awareness and peace of mind. And little by little, that's how we stop being run by unconscious patterns and start actually living from the deeper self. The self that doesn't need the drama. Which brings me right back to the beginning of a new earth. Interestingly enough, my eyes were led first to page 5, but then I realized, oh wait, there's a little something worth mentioning before we get to that number 5. I've been seeing so many 5s symbolizing positive paradigm shifts rolling in for us because of how we have been rolling out. Baby. Yes. Alright, yes, A New Earth, the Flowering of Human Consciousness, page 4. In the case of a flower, a crystal, a precious stone, or bird. However, even someone with little or no presence can occasionally sense that there is more there than the mere physical existence of that form. Don't harass me about my crystals. Without knowing that this is the reason why he or she is drawn towards it, feels an affinity with it. Don't harass me about my living archives. Because of its ethereal nature, it forms obscures the indwelling spirit to a lesser degree than is the case with other life forms. The exception to this are all newborn life forms, babies, puppies, kittens, lambs, and so on. Fragile, delicate, yet firmly established in materiality. An innocence, a sweetness, and beauty that are not of this world still shine through them. They delight. Oh, yes, we're going on into page 5 now. They delight even relatively insensitive humans. So when you are alert and contemplate a flower, a crystal, or bird without naming it mentally, it becomes a window for you into the formless. There is an inner opening, however slightly, into the realm of spirit. This is why these 3 enlightened life forms have played such an important part in the evolution of human consciousness since ancient times. Why? For example, the jewel in the lotus flower is a central symbol of Buddhism, and a white bird, the dove, signifies the Holy Spirit. In Christianity, as well as other monotheistic systems, they've been preparing for the ground for more profound shift in planetary consciousness that is destined to take place in the human species. This is the spiritual awakening that we are beginning to witness now. Okay, now we're going to jump back ahead into Finding Who You Are, A New Earth, page 204. The paradox of time. You discover that there is only ever this moment. Life is always now. Always now. Your entire life unfolds in this constant now. Even past or future moments only exist when you remember or anticipate them. And you do so by thinking about them in the only moment there is. This one. Why does it appear then as if there were many moments? I'm actually going to stop there and we'll get right into the answer to that question directly from Awakening to Your Life's Purpose in the next rising session. I would just like to see your thoughts in the comments and chat section whenever this message reaches you. Now, I feel as though it is my duty to draw this to a close with an embodiment command for our day. This time in plural. Dear source of all it is, was, and will ever be, I thank you today and each and every day for all that you do and all that you do through me. We stand in your divine authority, commanding in alignment with your perfect will. By the power of divine law, I now open my life to abundant security. Oops, I'm supposed to be pluralizing that. We're going to back that up a little bit. Sometimes we make little mistakes and then we correct them and we move on. By the power of divine law, we now open our lives to abundant security, stability, and protection. No weapons formed against us shall prosper. Every curse, every evil eye, every ill wish, every case, cause, concern, conflict, and negative confrontation dissolves into nothingness by the radiance of your light. I command true prosperity to flow into our lives. Prosperity that nourishes our souls, sustains our bodies, and blesses all who walk with us. Wealth and resources are now aligned to our highest purpose. I command good fortune to follow us in all things. Doors of opportunity opening before us effortlessly. And every step we take is guided by divine favor. I call forth true love divinely ordained, harmonious, and my favorite part, eternal. My heart and soul are aligned to receive and give love, and so is yours in its purest, most sacred form. My ruby. May my path be illuminated. May your path be illuminated. Our spirits fortified, and our lives a testament to the boundless grace of Source and Holy Spirit. So it is, so it is, so it is, that Holy Spirit fire, and so it shall be. That is the message. I thank you so very much, Multiverses Soul Familia, for tuning in. Familia, with much gratitude and appreciation from my heart chakra to yours. Brightest of blessings.